Hello, I'm Paul Ryan, thanking you for unhooking your video game long enough to watch us tonight. Seriously, though, that television that you are now watching can be used for a lot of different uses today, and the video game is just one of them. But some folks have taken the television one step further, and they are now using it to express themselves artistically. Now, video art, as it is called, is growing in prestige and popularity, I'm told, all across this country. But before you take up paint and brushes to go out and express yourself, let's let Joel Parks explain just what video art is.
There's nothing wrong with your television set. Well, that's not totally true. In the view of the lady that produced the work you're viewing right now, there's plenty wrong with it. And this piece, entitled On Edge, is aimed at making you pay attention to that.
I hate most of the programs that are on. They're just not interesting to me. And,
artist Norie Sato created On Edge and many other video works which have been shown around town. She's also in charge of video at Seattle's And Gallery. Like many people working in video, Norie started out in another medium, printmaking, and was drawn to the newness and ease of working electronically.
Well, I like a couple things. I like the immediate nature of it. And to me, it's so much faster than painting and drawing and printmaking and all those more traditional techniques, because you can immediately see what the images are going to be. And I love the way the box itself functions as sort of a living thing. The television functions as a living entity.
She likes to work with things that most people hate to see on television. You know, the snow and crackling lines that send you to the yellow pages for the repairman. This is an installation of her work at the Lande Gallery last summer. It's a study in image decay, the sort of thing that gives engineers nightmares.
But that decay is I think, a wonderful aspect of television, and I like that. And all the, what I consider the pure electronic phenomena, which is things like snow, glitches, things that are sort of uncontrolled, but the electrons and the signals all do their own little thing, and they go kind of haywire. I'm real interested in that.
Decaying images aren't the only forms of video art, though. It's generally conceded to have started with Korean artist Nam June Paik in the early 60s, and is still so new that Paik, often called the father of video art, is still around to enjoy that title.
Well, not just in music history and art history. I think that Paik made the first new cello since 1600. He made 3 TV sets in a plexiglass case. It's a totally new concept, and you should see how cellists feel about it. They're really upset.
He did this piece in 1972, and even if you can't get with the ideas behind it, you have to admire his imagination. That sense of imagination and daring is important. Video artists are really exploring a new frontier. Some people say that judging what they're doing now is like comparing the scribblings of cave dwellers with the French masters. Time will tell, but no matter what we think of it, video art is growing. Alan Lande is another Seattleite dedicated to that growth. He works in the backyard of his home in the Central District and has had shows in Paris, London, and on cable networks around the United States. He shares Norie's distaste for commercial programming, but he refuses to see himself as an artist.
I think that I'm basically doing research. You know, I'm researching for stuff that we already know but we've forgotten or something. Just like you, in a way. We're making packages of information, right? And I think I'm doing the same thing. I'm making up packages of information that people can use. I mean, that's really what I feel it's about. But I don't think, I find the term artist sort of confused and useless at this time in history. I mean, everyone's an artist, right?
Now, whether everyone is indeed an artist or not depends on your personal definition of art. And that's what I kept coming up against as I got deeper into researching this story. Alan's views on the subject are certainly different from mine.
I don't have to manipulate this moisture, you know, in the air. All I have to do is acknowledge it, right? And it is art. All we have to do is notice. That's all we do, and it is.
Boy,
right?
I think that's one of the things wrong with this age, is that everybody feels that's all they need to do is just be there and everything's going to be taken care of, that there isn't any refinement or work or expertise put into anything.
You don't think that, excuse me, there's millions of years of work. Millions of years. I mean, come on.
Whose work was it? Who created those clouds where the work?
We did.
How?
How? Yeah. By sharing their DNA.
Alan and I went around on this for most of the afternoon, even resorting to an arm wrestling match, which he won at one point. But the fact remains that most people working with video art have a distinctly different outlook on what they're doing than, say, your average broadcaster. That became especially apparent last summer when King TV refused to air 8 30-second spots Alan had produced to run on their late-night Tom Snyder show. The word was that there were problems with the content and technical quality of the spots, one of which had Alan breaking a piece of glass with his head. At any rate, they never aired, and Alan's mission to wake up the sleeping television audience was temporarily thwarted. But he's still pitching.
Well, actually, I'd like to, not only would I like to wake them up, I'd like them to get them up and make them go over and turn this off. Get up right now. You're sitting, watching this.
Go to your window.
Go to your window, right? Go to the window of the world, right? And just turn it off and go outside. How's that?
But keep buying the products anyway. For a final word on all this, I sought a more established figure, Bill Ritchie. He's a professor of art at the University of Washington. He began a class in video there in the early 70s and still works with it. How does he feel about the menace of television?
I think that if you understand that it takes a little extra power to get up out of your chair and turn off the television, because that thing has got you in a state of mind that makes it more comfortable to sit there and let it run. If you're intelligent enough to see that you've got to just make that extra little push and jump up and push the button, then you've solved the problem, if there's going to be one, in my opinion.
On a brighter note, Bill sees TV as an unlimited canvas and feels it will become for the visual artist what radio became for the performing artist.
And secondly, the electronics, the computer and the video have no material quality whatsoever. They're very dull to, you can't get hold of them. But what they can convey intellectually or, you know, in terms of thinking processes is far greater than what you can communicate in a woodcut.
According to Bill, the most difficult thing for us to overcome is our traditional views of what art is.
If we think of an oil painting, we want it to be made by an individual with the individual's own ideas, with the individual's hands and so forth. And if we're asked to accept something else, art as video, let's say, and it doesn't have a hand in it, doesn't have an individual working alone in an attic someplace, then we start thinking, well, this is cold. And we tend to come to that conclusion very quickly.
There are some people that say that in the next 5 years there will be more new video artists than painters. After all, this is the electronic age. And after thinking about it, I tend to agree with them. Video is a fascinating medium to work in, and unlike more traditional mediums, you don't get your fingers messy. Can I have a little color around the edge of that, please? Perfect. Now, how about a circle in the center? Something white, bright. Yeah, now let's just spin it and move it around a little bit.